It's been roughly 3 weeks since the launch of the CS2 beta, and while some streamers are having the time of their lives, a lot of people are getting sick and tired of just ripping Dust 2 over and over and having to wait ridiculous queue times to do so. On top of that, there's a lot of die-hard fans that are really upset that they still don't have access. So, did Valve kind of screw this up?
Dude, there's only mods, bro! There's not a single player in Deathmatch. Not one person in Deathmatch.
Dust 2 is quite possibly one of the greatest FPS maps of all time. That being said, 3 weeks of it and things are getting a little bit dull. Now, imagine it's your job to cover everything CS2, but you don't even have access to it. So you're just stuck here watching the same creators play the same map over and over and over again. Alas, I'm not the only one a little bit frustrated about the whole limited test situation. Dimitri, other creators, some of you, are all feeling a little bit let down by Valve. And those who do have access are quite reasonably getting bored of queuing for Dust 2. The question is any of this disappointment justified? Well, to get that answer, it's important to know that the beta controversies actually go all the way back to the first few days of its release. Everyone knew that whenever Valve made the announcement of a new CS, one thing was going to be on everyone's mind. When and how the hell do I get to play? And as we covered back then, Valve stated that entrance into the limited test was determined by things like recent playtime and trust factor. But just hours into the beta, it was clear that that wasn't exactly the case. Now, people were probably expecting to see a ton of content creators and pros get access, but CSGO fanatics seeing Valorant streamers get access, well, that rubbed some people the wrong way.
Yo, Dennis, did you actually get it?
Yes. Look.
Now, as much as I hate to be that guy, I do understand both sides. On one hand, I am still one of the many mauling outside the club. And the CS2 announcement was a gaming phenomenon, so I can understand people getting pissed off for not getting access when they've supported the franchise for over a decade. On the other hand, it does make sense for Valve to include Valorant streamers in the beta. Listen, they know every CSGO player is going to want to play CS2 regardless, but Riot is their biggest competitor, and they want to reach that audience. Next to that, Valve technically said that there were other factors that got people into the beta. They just decided to not elaborate on what those were. Did they lie? Not really. Is it shitty? Probably, but this is Valve. They've never given a flying f.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
Now, eventually, most large voices in the community did make it into the beta, but that's when the community's feelings towards the whole CS2 announcement got a bit more complicated. After 3 weeks, people who were in the beta were getting bored of playing Dust 2 non-stop. And as a result, we saw plenty of complaints as well as a drop in the player count. I'm serious, if you go on Twitter, you're going to find people saying that CS2 is already dead and it hasn't even been born yet. But then there are those who didn't get into the beta and would sell a kidney to play Dust 2. And they think that streamers are just being a little ungrateful. And honestly, I feel like the frustration is at least kind of valid. Outside of a few content creators, I don't know a single person who's been invited to the beta, and that includes 12,000-hour global elites. But it seemed like if you were a big enough content creator and asked politely enough, you and all your pals could get in. So on one side, you have people that are bored of the beta, and on the other, you have people that are upset that they can't even get in. To make matters worse, with people who have access dropping like flies, means that queue times are going through the roof. One person had to wait over 48 minutes for Dust 2. It feels like Valve tried to disguise a creator event as a beta test because they knew they couldn't keep it from leaking, but then failed to do either. Don't get me wrong, I still believe in the hype and trust the process, but I can't help but think that this could have gone a bit better. I mean, just look at the Valorant beta back in 2020. Sure, the Twitch drops method was a shit show and the game had its own problems, but at least it was simple for the general public to get in. And once they did, there was plenty of content. With that comparison alone, I feel like Valve should have just waited another month or two and dropped a more significant beta. Or at the very least, communicate to the fans on exactly what was going to be included in the beta and who was going to get access to it. But as per usual, it's been radio silence from Valve. I mean, everything we have learned about the game since Valve's initial drop, new cosmetics, back live, emotes, has been from data mining and leaks. Now, I know we should all be used to Valve's lack of communication by now, but I honestly can't help but feel that this could have gone a lot smoother. Now, obviously, Valve is not going to stay silent forever. But the question is, are they going to crack this puppy open, or are we just going to get small drops of content here and there? My hope is by Thursday of next week, we will have our answer. And I'm sure this is going to age very well. With that said, I'm curious as to what you all think. I know beta testing is extremely important and difficult, but do you think Valve should have waited until they had more to offer and to more people? Or do you think we're all just a bunch of entitled babies? Because honestly, that's a fair conclusion as well. And I'm not sure what camp I'm in either, to be honest. With that said, stay safe, gamers, and I'll see you on the next one. Do you guys ever play Gary's Mod? A lot of people don't, for some reason, don't know about it, but there's a second Gary's Mod coming out that's with Source 2. I've been trying to get into that like more diligently than CS2. I think that's like the only game I have more hours in than Counter-Strike. It's a fantastic game. I haven't played the remastered version yet though.